Hello everyone. It is day 5 of my challenge this month, September 2022. And I'm going strong, guys. I'm going strong. So, full bottle of water every day at least. And that includes my teas, my drinks, my shakes if I do anything, and then any additional waters, it's wonderful. It's great. I'm doing great, and intermittent fasting's going wonderful, and I'll tell you why it's going wonderful for me. So by the way, I do a lot of processing while I'm driving and while I'm walking. I do so much. It feels like, I don't know, something's just moving inside of me. So these are the best times for me to connect. So I wanted to make that a point as well. Okay, so getting to it. Why intermittent fasting is wonderful for me is I've noticed there's binge restrict diets, right? It's you have that restriction to binging. It's that habit loop that happens. And what I find is, though you could say there's restriction in intermittent fasting, it has, to this point, given me a really great experience in understanding some of those compulsive behaviors, right? Just kind of allowing myself to feel into what's really happening here, and really creating that space for a conversation to be had, or even just a witnessing experience to be had within myself of what is coming up. And so that's been really interesting. And one of the things that I realized last night, because this is a journey for me, this is more than just losing weight. It's about what's coming up in the middle of all of this that might be tied to the reason that I have this issue in the first place, or why I feel like I put more emphasis and energy into my weight and my body image and my self-image and things like that. Where did this stem from? What's going on here? And what's my journey, right? I've been on this journey for a very, very long time, my whole life, really. As far as I can remember, when I was a little kid, I was already having comments about my body weight and being spoken to about diets and things like that when I was in my single digits, and mid single digits. And I think that's I know I'm not alone, and it's really unfortunate, to bring that, in a harmful way to a child's mind, right? And 2, it's unfortunate that they probably went through the same thing, and doing a lot of the healing work that I've done within myself and have helped other people with is reframing what was their experience growing up, and what have they been taught was an effective form of communication, or their way of communicating, or their way of caring for. And though it can be harmful on the back end, their intentions were in a loving manner, possibly because they didn't want me to experience what they possibly experienced, or just the compounding effects of different things. And everybody has their own experiences. But when I think about everything, right, it's really much more than me bringing into my awareness and embodying that losing a half a pound each day for the rest of the month. It is, for me, setting a goal and following it through, as well as just see what comes up. And what came up yesterday was a wonderful video. It's one of my favorite people that I follow on YouTube, and he was mentioning, it's Kyle Cease, and he was mentioning there was a video yesterday which was kind of perfect, and it was like, how come I can't stop binge eating? So I watched it, and what he had mentioned was there's this part of you that just wants unconditional love. And with, like, when we're doing things that have, and forgive me if I'm mistaken, like, some words, but when we have, like, compulsive desires that we're kind of leaning into, it's like it's really just seeking that unconditional love more than anything. And there's always that two sides of everything, right? There's like the shame that's associated with it, as well as the desire to not want to do it. And so there's kind of this like battle going on. And if you follow Kyle Cease, or he's very much an individual who's taught me a lot about being present with what's coming up, just allowing it to be there. So if shame's coming up, allow shame to be there. It's okay. And honestly, even with Eckhart Tolle, just the power of presence and allowing has a lot of power. It's that surrender process of not trying to fix everything that we are feeling like is what's wrong with us, right? Like when we're feeling a negative energy or a low vibration, or just feeling kind of frumpy, and we're like, what's going on? I need to fix this. Where is it stemming from? What's the root? And blah, blah, blah. And sometimes we perpetuate that to develop and grow a lot bigger through trying to figure everything out and trying to understand it all, versus allowing it to be present and just be there and not needing to figure it all out. And what I found was, in allowing myself to feel the feelings that are coming up, I actually tend to understand a little bit more about where it could be coming from, because it feels as though it's like a river, right? So the river's always flowing. If throughout the seasons you might have a storm, and that means the storm might bring waste and trees and everything into that river, and more water to kind of push it through. And if we find that trees and things are coming down the river, and we're like, oh my God, the trees aren't supposed to be there because it's always supposed to just be free flowing, then we say, stop the river, put a dam up, we got to pull all these trees out of here so that way it can flow more smoothly, as opposed to allowing the river to take the trees as it naturally would. It would reflow again, right? So if you imagine damming the river, that takes time. Pulling everything out, that takes time. Where you get the same result, because the river will flow again. And if you allow it to flow without putting up the dam, without trying to pull everything out, and allowing that energy to come up and flow through, then it'll continue to go. And sometimes what's upriver are the answers that we need, that we're seeking. And granted, it's having discernment as well to know when to dam the river and when to really go back and say, okay, I recognize this as a pattern. What can I learn from this? And what moments to kind of dissect and what moments just to allow. And I would argue always allowing, and what you can choose to dive deeper into or choose to let go of. That sounds better to me, is always allowing. Always. We don't ever really need to build the dam. But sometimes we might have more trees coming down at a certain period of time that is kind of keeping us in a space of focusing on one topic to understand more deeply. And so when I was thinking about unconditional love, I was thinking about my childhood, and first just something came up in my awareness, which I always find that to be synchronistic, and there's always a purpose for it. And I seen where I live, because there's this like repetitive thing in my head where I feel like I'm moving forward. I feel like things are changing and shifting, and I'm so excited. As well, I feel so connected to the space that I live in. I love it so, so much. And I love the nature. I love my friends here. I love my job. And I also love this idea of moving forward, because I know there's so many more things that I would love to pursue and experience, and that's also wonderful. So when I was walking last night, I was thinking in my mind, okay, this place is home to me. As soon as I landed on the plane, as soon as I got here, I'd never been here before, I was like, this is home immediately. And I was like, I wonder why that is. And I've gone through a massive like transformation and shifting and truly healing process since I've been here, especially in the last couple of years. And a part of me just immediately was like, this is a representation for you to heal those parts of you that you had growing up. And I found that to be very interesting. And the details of all of that there's a lot more details to that, like within, the people that I've met, the people that were in my life, the people that are in my life, and what I've learned from each and every one of them, as well as the space. When I was growing up, I used to love being in the woods. I loved it so much. I felt so safe. I felt so protected. And here, I can't get enough of the forest. Like, when I tell you the community here is amazing, it's because of all of the trees. Like, in terms of socializing, I don't socialize with humans very often. I socialize with the trees, and I socialize with the ocean, and I socialize with the just all of the living organisms in the forest, the animals, the birds, the whales, the fish. Like, that is my community here, and it's so vast and so abundant. And it's so funny, because when I tell everybody the community here is amazing, which it is. The people here are wonderful. But my community, in terms of people, are very, very small. My community in terms of space and love and connection is so abundant. And that is when I'm out in the woods. That's when I'm walking. That's when I'm just connecting with everything that's here naturally. And so when I was thinking into my childhood and thinking about who am I, right? And what do I want? If I were to look back at my childhood and think, what is it that I wanted the most? To feel unconditional love. Like, where was I missing that within myself? And so it's just really opening up to my inner child first thing that came to mind was like, go stand on the corner of one of the most populated traffic lights in Juneau and just wave your sign and like wave at everybody and express your heart and just like totally be in a space of complete love, where it didn't matter what anybody else said, it didn't matter how they looked at you, it didn't matter anything. You were in your own bubble, just totally having fun. You could dance, you can just shout and just have a beautiful message for everyone to hold into their hearts, that they are the most beautiful beings on this planet. And I felt this drastic wave of like, yes, that embodies me and my soul so beautifully and perfectly and divinely. And that's what I've needed this whole time, was just fun and playful and empowering and uplifting, and it just feels so easy to me. And then there is this human, like this me side of it that's 30 years old, that's like, I can't be seen. Like, no way. I was terrified to go on a walk and like cross the street because people would see me. So there's this element of being seen. And then immediately I seen in that process of showing me what my true self is and what it's meant to be, what we're becoming, and where I'm at right now, I seen all of this weight. It's like a blanket. It's like a protective barrier. It's hiding me. And so I thought that was really interesting, because it's more than just bringing in the manifestations and the affirmations, right? When we allow ourselves to embody what it is that we want to accomplish for ourselves and truly bring in that emotion and allow that future self to step into us and guide us to where we want to go, these things are going to come up. Because in order to get to where we want to be, we have to face these parts of ourselves. So this is a natural part of getting to where we want to go, are all of these blocks that are coming up and facing them. And I just thought that was so wonderful and so beautiful. And it's been incredible. I mean, I've been guided to so many different communities that talk about, okay, how are we going to break the binge and restrict cycle? And I think, yes, okay, I need to take part in this. It's learning about myself. It's learning about what I've developed, these habits. And there's like people, there's experiences, there's opportunities coming into my life now that I'm opened up, now that I'm stepping into that future version of myself. She says, okay, this is what we need to face, and these are the people that are going to help you get there, and the communities that are going to help you get there. And I just think like it's more than I could ever fathom, the gratitude that I have, and like the communities that I'm connected with, the opportunities, I did a hypnotherapy session today, and it was just so profound. And I love working with different therapists all the time, because everyone works so differently and everyone brings their own experience into the session, and you learn so much more, like a different perspective. And it's just been such a beautiful journey my whole life. And I love what's unfolding in these last couple of days, and really just being open to what's to come. So today's a beautiful, beautiful day. I am so delighted to be on this journey of losing 0.5 pound of stubborn, unnecessary body fat out of my body, to open myself up to be more free to who I'm becoming, and allowing myself to be seen, allowing myself to be heard, bringing in that unconditional love in those moments where I recognize when I have compulsive patterns of like binge eating sometimes, or when I feel, restricted, or X, Y, and Z, whatever comes up, really bringing in that unconditional love, checking in with that little girl inside, and really uncovering how to be more in who I am and who I am becoming and was always meant to be, and who I always was really deep down, and allowing whatever's to unfold in the highest good of all to continue unfolding, and trust that I'm always being guided. I always have community no matter what. Even if it's not in this moment, or not this moment, but in this space, like physically around me, I always have community that I can connect with, always. And that's one of the beauties about having online presence. You don't have to have social media to have community. There's so many different avenues of connecting with others and connecting with people that are more like you. And the more that you step into who you want to be, people will come into your space. And just trusting wholeheartedly that you're always supported on this journey, no matter where you're at. And life is never ending in terms of how we grow and what we learn about ourselves, and just being open to the process of it all, being open to embracing new and letting go of what no longer serves you, and allowing and seeing that as just a natural flowing process as you continue to expand on your journey. So that is what I have to say. That was the last 24 hours for me in a very, very brief nutshell. So I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, and continue to love yourself so much more and more, and just have so much fun. Like, bring in that joy, bring in the excitement, do something brand new that you've never done before on this day. I love you. Until next time, tomorrow.